My wife texted, "I'm filing for divorce and telling the judge you've been unstable. I'm getting the house." I replied, "I understand your strategy." Then I emailed her lawyer the 200 pages of her psychiatrist's notes she'd left on our printer. Her lawyer's frantic, "We need to settle" call. I, 37 male, got the text last Thursday at 2 p.m. Was in the middle of quarterly reports when my phone buzzed. Amber, 35. "Just so you know, I'm filing for divorce Monday. My lawyer says we should claim you've been emotionally unstable and verbally aggressive. Makes the custody and assets split easier. I'm getting the house. Don't bother fighting it." Stared at the screen for a solid minute. 7 years of marriage and she's texting me her legal strategy like she's ordering takeout. The casual cruelty of it was almost impressive. Me? "I understand your strategy." That's all I sent back. No anger, no begging, no "how could you?" Just acknowledgement. See, here's the thing about Amber. She's always been overconfident. Thinks she's the smartest person in any room. That confidence makes her sloppy. Case in point. 3 days earlier, I'd come home to find our home office printer still warm. It had been running for a while, judging by the heat. There was a stack of papers on the tray, about 200 pages, still warm. I almost just filed them away without looking. Almost, but the header on the first page caught my eye. Patient, Amber Rodriguez. Therapist, Dr. Helena Westbrook, PsyD. Session notes. Detailed psychiatric evaluations. 2 years worth of weekly appointments I didn't even know she was attending. Now I'm not proud of reading them. Invasion of privacy, I get it. But she'd left them on our shared printer, in our shared home office. And after that text about claiming I was unstable, I'm glad I did. The notes were revealing. Documented anxiety disorder, depression, paranoid episodes, multiple sessions about her irrational anger toward spouse, and difficulty maintaining emotional regulation. One note from 6 months ago. Patient admits to fabricating stories about husband's behavior to friends, family, to gain sympathy and support for potential separation. Another from 3 months ago. Patient discussed plan to portray husband as unstable in potential divorce proceedings despite acknowledging he has never been aggressive or emotionally abusive toward her. She'd literally told her therapist she was planning to lie about me in divorce court. And the therapist had documented it. I took photos of every single page with my phone. Then I carefully put the papers back in a drawer in her desk where she'd apparently meant to file them. That was Tuesday. Her text came Thursday. By Friday morning, I had an attorney. Met with Gregory Finch Friday afternoon. Brought my phone with all the photos. He's mid-50s, been doing family law for 20 years, comes highly recommended. "So your wife is threatening to claim you're unstable," Gregory said, scrolling through the photos on my phone. "But she's left documented evidence that she's planning to lie about you, has actual diagnosed mental health issues, and has paranoid tendencies. That's about the size of it." "Did you remove these documents from the house?" "No. Took photos, left the originals exactly where she put them." "Good. That's very good." He leaned back in his chair. "Here's what's going to happen. She'll file Monday, probably. Her lawyer will submit an initial petition painting you as an unfit parent, emotionally volatile, maybe dangerous. They'll request primary custody of your daughter and the house. We have one kid. Zoe, age 5. Smart as hell, looks like her mom, acts like me." The thought of Amber using her as a weapon made my stomach turn. What do? We wait for them to commit. Let them file their claims under oath. Then we respond with evidence that she's been planning to perjure herself. The court does not look kindly on false allegations in custody cases. Won't I need the original documents? Eventually, yes, but first, we need her to go on record with her false claims. Then we file our response with your evidence. At that point, I guarantee her attorney will try to withdraw from the case or push for immediate settlement. Why would her lawyer try to withdraw? Gregory smiled. It wasn't friendly. Because knowingly presenting false testimony is a great way to get disbarred. Once we show him evidence that his client planned to lie under oath, he'll distance himself fast. Made sense. What do I do until Monday? Act normal. Don't let her know you're prepared. Don't engage if she tries to provoke you. Document everything. Texts, calls, interactions. And whatever you do, don't leave the house. If she gets you to move out before the filing, she can claim abandonment. Spent the weekend being a ghost in my own house. Amber was cold, barely spoke to me. Zoe asked why mommy was being weird. I told her grown-ups sometimes need space to think. Sunday night, Amber tried to start a fight. Came into the living room while I was watching TV. You're really not going to say anything? Not going to try to work this out? You texted me your legal strategy, Amber. What's there to work out? So that's it? 7 years and you just give up? The irony was impressive. You gave up when you started planning to lie about me in court. Her face went white. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you don't. I'll see you at the hearing. She stormed off. Heard her on the phone in the bedroom, angry whispers. Probably to her lawyer or her sister Meredith, who's been feeding her entitled nonsense for years. Monday came. Amber left early with Zoe for school drop-off. I worked from home, waited for the inevitable. The email from her attorney came at 11 a.m. Derek Paulson, Esquire. Generic but aggressive cover letter, petition attached. Read exactly like Gregory predicted. I was emotionally unstable, verbally aggressive, created an unsafe environment. She wanted primary custody, supervised visitation for me, and exclusive use of our house. The house is mine, by the way. Bought it 2 years before we met. My name on the deed. She's not on the title, never contributed to the mortgage, but apparently her lawyer thought they could swing it anyway. Forwarded everything to Gregory. He called within 10 minutes. This is even better than I hoped. She's made specific claims about your behavior that we can directly refute with her own psychiatric records. Send me those photos now. All of them? Every single page. Spent the next hour uploading 200 photos to a secure file share. Gregory called back around 1 p.m. I'm preparing our response now. We'll file tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to email Mr. Paulson with a preview of what's coming. A preview? Just enough to make him panic. Want to give him a chance to talk sense into his client before this gets uglier. Gregory's email went out at 3 p.m. I wasn't copied on it, but he told me the gist. We have documented evidence that your client has been planning to present false testimony regarding my client's mental state and behavior. Said evidence includes your client's own psychiatric records, describing her plan to make these false claims. We strongly suggest you review your client's statements before proceeding. The response came in 90 minutes. Not from Derek Paulson. From Amber herself texting me. What the hell did your lawyer send to mine? Derek is freaking out and won't tell me why. What did you do? Nothing yet. Just letting your lawyer know we have evidence. Evidence of what? Your psychiatric records. The ones you printed on Tuesday and left in the office. The ones where you told Dr. Westbrook you were planning to lie about me in court. Nothing. For 5 minutes. Amber, you went through my private medical records? You left them on our printer, in our shared office. Did you forget? That's illegal. You can't use those. Actually, documents found in a shared marital residence are discoverable. Gregory checked. But hey, your lawyer can explain it to you. This is insane. You're being insane right now. The projection was almost funny. Me, I'm being factual. You plan to lie under oath. Your therapist documented it. Now your lawyer knows. See you in court. Blocked her number after that. Gregory said not to engage further, and I was happy to comply. Update 1, 3 days later. The fallout came faster than expected. Tuesday morning, Gregory filed our response. It was brutal. Point-by-point refutation of every claim Amber made, supported by her own psychiatric records. We included excerpts, the parts where she admitted to fabricating stories, the part where she discussed her strategy to paint me as unstable. We also included character references from my employer, our daughter's preschool teacher, and 3 of our neighbors, all attesting to my stability, involvement in Zoe's life, and general decent human being status. By Tuesday afternoon, Derek Paulson sent Gregory an email requesting an emergency conference call. Gregory called me first. Her lawyer wants to settle immediately. That was fast. He's in panic mode. Once I showed him the full extent of records, he realized his client lied to him. He's trying to minimize damage to his own reputation. What's Amber saying? According to Derek, she's claiming you stole her medical records and we can't use them. He informed her that's not how it works. Documents left in a shared space are fair game, especially when they're directly relevant to claims made in the case. So what now? We wait for their offer. But don't expect anything reasonable. She still thinks she has leverage. The offer came Wednesday morning, via Derek, not directly from Amber. She wanted 50-50 custody. She keeps the house, which again is solely in my name. I pay her $3,000 a month in spousal support for 5 years, and we split all other assets evenly. Gregory laughed when he read it to me. She's delusional. You own the house outright. She has no claim to it. She works full-time making $65 a year. You make $120K. The spousal support calculation in this state would be maybe $1,500 per month for 3 years maximum, and that's being generous to her. What do we counter with? The truth. 50-50 custody is fine. You want a co-parent anyway. But she doesn't get the house. Spousal support is $1,000 a month for 2 years maximum, and we're splitting only the actual marital assets, which is basically just the stuff we bought together during the marriage. Send it. While the lawyers negotiated, Amber's family started their campaign. Her sister Meredith showed up at my office Thursday afternoon. Security called me down to the lobby. You need to drop this, Meredith said without preamble. You're humiliating her. She tried to lie about me in court. She humiliated herself. She's struggling. She has anxiety, depression, you know this, and you're using it against her like some kind of monster. I'm using the fact that she planned to commit perjury against her. Big difference. You violated her privacy. She left 200 pages of documents on a shared printer. That's not violation, that's carelessness. Meredith's face went red. The judge is going to see you for what you are. A manipulative, controlling. The judge is going to see documented evidence that your sister planned to lie under oath. That's what the judge will see. Security escorted her out after she started yelling about men like me. Fun times. That night, Amber tried a different tactic. She brought Zoe home from daycare and immediately started crying in front of our daughter. Mommy's sad because Daddy is being mean, she said, loud enough for me to hear from the kitchen. I walked into the living room. Zoe, honey, can you go play in your room for a few minutes? Mommy and I need to talk. Once Zoe was gone, I turned to Amber. Don't put our daughter in the middle of this. I'm not putting her anywhere. I'm upset, and she's asking why. You're manipulating her. Stop. You're the one who... I'm the one who has evidence you plan to lie in court. That's all this is. You made choices, now you're dealing with them. But Zoe doesn't need to be part of your drama. She tried to argue, but I walked away. Went upstairs, called Gregory, told him about the incident. He said to document it. Time, date, what was said. Said it might be relevant if custody became contentious. Friday brought a new development. Derek Paulson requested another call. This time he wanted both of us on the line. Him, Gregory, me, and Amber. My client wants to address the situation directly, Derek said. Gregory muted our side. This is unusual, but it might move things along. You comfortable? Yeah. He unmuted. We're here. Amber's voice came through, tight and angry. I want you to destroy those records. No, I said. They're private. You have no right. You left them where I could find them. That's on you. Derek says they're not even admissible. Gregory cut in. That's not accurate. Your own attorney has acknowledged that documents found in a shared marital residence are discoverable, particularly when they directly refute claims made in legal filings. Silence on their end. Then Derek spoke. Look, we can keep fighting this, but it's going to get expensive for both parties. My client is willing to withdraw her initial claims about your mental state and behavior if you agree not to introduce the psychiatric records in court. Counteroffer? Gregory said smoothly. Your client withdraws all false claims, pays my client's legal fees incurred so far. That's $4,500. And we settle on the following terms. 50-50 custody. My client retains the house as his separate property. Spousal support is $800 a month for 18 months, and we split the actual marital assets 50-50. That's not acceptable, Derek started. Then we see you in court, Gregory interrupted, where we will absolutely introduce every page of those records, and where my client will file a separate complaint about your client's attempted perjury. Your call. The line went quiet. I could hear muffled arguing on their end. After about 2 minutes, Derek came back. We need to discuss with our client. We'll respond Monday. They hung up. Gregory sounded satisfied. They'll take it. Derek knows he screwed up taking her case without doing due diligence. He wants out clean. What if they don't? Then we go to trial, and they lose badly, but they'll take it, trust me. Update 2. The settlement Monday came with radio silence. No call, no email. By Tuesday afternoon, I was getting anxious. Then Wednesday morning, Derek Paulson sent a new proposal. They'd accept our terms with modifications. 1,000-month spousal support for 18 months instead of $800. She doesn't pay my legal fees, and I give her the Subaru, which is in my name but she drives. Gregory called me. This is basically a yes with them trying to save face. The car is worth maybe $15. You'll spend more than that if we go to trial. My fees alone would eat that up. Your call, but I'd recommend accepting. Take it. I'm done with this. Smart. I'll draft the settlement agreement. Papers were signed Friday. Divorce would be final in 90 days per state law. Custody arrangement started immediately. Week on, week off with Zoe. Amber moved out the following Monday. Her parents came with a U-Haul. Her mom, Diana, tried to start something with me on the porch. You should be ashamed. Using a woman's mental health issues against her. I used documented evidence that she planned to lie under oath. If she's ashamed, that's her conscience, not me. She needed that house. She has nowhere to go. She has a full-time job and family willing to help her. She'll be fine. Diana called me a few more names, but her husband, Amber's dad, Glenn, pulled her away. Diana, leave it. Let's just get her moved. Glenn caught my eye and gave me a small nod, almost like an apology. Interesting. The next few weeks were adjustment period. Zoe struggled a bit with the new schedule, lots of questions about why mommy and daddy weren't living together. We kept it simple. Sometimes grown-ups are better as friends than married. Amber, meanwhile, was spinning a narrative to anyone who'd listen. According to mutual friends, I was abusive, had stolen her medical records, and used her mental illness against her. Some people bought it. Lost a few acquaintances who didn't bother asking my side. But most people saw through it, especially when Gregory sent a carefully worded letter to a few key parties, not disclosing the records, just noting that all claims made by Ms. Rodriguez regarding Mr. Garrett's behavior have been withdrawn and were found to be without merit. The real consequences came from an unexpected direction. 3 weeks post-settlement, I got a call from Dr. Helena Westbrook's office. The office manager, not the doctor herself. Mr. Garrett, I'm calling regarding the documents that were submitted in your divorce case. Oh crap. Yes? Dr. Westbrook has reviewed the situation and needs to inform you that she's filing a complaint with the state medical board. Against me? No, sir. Against herself. Wait, what? The office manager explained. Dr. Westbrook had realized upon reviewing the records that came up in court that she'd failed to adequately address Amber's stated plan to commit perjury. As a mandatory reporter in certain situations, she should have documented her concerns more carefully or potentially refused to continue treatment. She's being proactive about this, the manager said. But she wanted you to know that Ms. Rodriguez is no longer her patient. She terminated the therapeutic relationship last week. Amber lost her therapist because of her own actions. The irony wasn't lost on me, but the hits kept coming for Amber. Her workplace got involved next. Amber works in HR for a mid-sized company. Apparently, she'd been telling coworkers about her abusive ex-husband and how she'd barely escaped. One of her coworkers knew me professionally, small world, and asked if I was okay. I kept it brief. The divorce is finalized. All of her claims about my behavior were withdrawn. We have equal custody. That's all I can say. Word got back to her employer's leadership. They started asking questions about why their HR manager was making domestic violence allegations that apparently weren't true. Created liability concerns for the company. Amber got a formal reprimand for discussing personal matters inappropriately at work, and was told any further incidents would result in termination. Heard about this through the grapevine. Apparently, she ranted about it during a pickup exchange. Meredith was there and said loud enough for me to hear, "They're all against you. This is discrimination." I didn't respond. Just got Zoe and left. The final piece of consequence came from an unexpected source, Glenn, Amber's dad. He called me one evening about 6 weeks after the settlement. Awkward opening pleasantries then. "I want to apologize for my daughter's behavior." "You don't need to do that, Glenn." "I do. Diana and we didn't raise her to lie like that. We didn't know what she was planning to do until Diana read the settlement papers. I'm sorry. Didn't know what to say to that. I appreciate you calling. Amber's always been dramatic. Gets it from her mother if I'm honest, but this crossed a line. She put Zoe in the middle of her mess and that's not okay. Zoe's doing all right, we're managing. That's because you're a good dad, no Matt, don't let anyone tell you different. We talked for a few more minutes. He asked about Zoe, I filled him in. He said he and Diana would like to see their granddaughter regularly, regardless of whose custody week it was. I agreed. Grandparents are important. Before we hung up, Glenn said, you did the right thing, standing up for yourself. Don't feel guilty about it. Needed to hear that more than I realized. Update 3, 6 months later. It's been half a year since the divorce finalized. Life's found a rhythm. Zoe adjusted better than expected. She's thriving with the schedule, week with me, week with Amber. Her teacher says she's doing great in kindergarten. Still asks occasional questions about why we're not together, but she's accepted the new normal. Amber and I have a functional co-parenting relationship. Barely. We communicate via a parenting app that timestamps everything. She's tried a few times to renegotiate the custody arrangement, claiming she should have more time. I've declined, reminded her we have a court order, and suggested she file a modification if she feels that strongly. She hasn't filed anything. Too expensive, probably. The spousal support payments end in 12 months. Can't wait. She's complained several times that $1,000 a month isn't enough. I've reminded her she agreed to it. Her housing situation's stabilized. She's renting a small house with help from her parents. Diana's still cold to me, but Glenn comes to Zoe's school events and is cordial. We've had coffee twice while waiting for parent-teacher conferences. The social fallout continues in small ways. Some mutual friends chose sides, most chose mine once they understood what actually happened. Amber tried to organize a support group for people going through divorces, which seemed like an excuse to bash me to a new audience. It fell apart when someone asked why all her claims against me were withdrawn. She's dating now. Guy named Teeth, apparently. Met him through some app. Good for her, honestly. Maybe having someone else in her life will reduce the residual anger. On my end, I'm in therapy. Turns out going through someone trying to destroy your reputation does a number on you. Who knew? The therapist specializes in family law trauma. Helpful to process the experience with someone neutral. Started dating casually a few months ago. Nothing serious, just getting back out there. Weird after 7 years of marriage, but not terrible. The house feels different now. Redecorated, got rid of stuff that reminded me of Amber, made it more mine and Zoe's. Her room has her art all over the walls. My space feels lighter. Work's been good. Got a promotion, actually. Timing was weird. Right in the middle of the divorce chaos. But the distraction helped. Making $145 now, which is fortunate because legal fees weren't cheap even with the settlement. The psychiatric records are stored securely with Gregory's office. We never had to introduce them in court, thank God. But they exist as insurance. Gregory says to keep them for at least 5 years in case Amber tries to refile or modify custody with new false claims. Meredith sent me a Facebook message last month. Long rant about how I ruined her sister's life and destroyed her mental health by weaponizing her therapy records. I didn't respond. Gregory advised against engaging, and he's right. The message did make me think, though. Some people will always see me as the villain in this story. That's fine. I know what happened. I know I defended myself against false allegations using evidence Amber herself created through her own carelessness and dishonesty. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Did it cost me? Yeah. Emotionally, financially, socially. Lost some relationships, gained stress and trust issues, spent $12,000 on legal fees even with the settlement. But the alternative was letting her lie about me under oath, potentially losing custody of my daughter, and setting a precedent that false allegations are consequence-free. So, no regrets. Just relief that it's over. Zoe asked me the other day if I was happy. We were making pancakes on a Saturday morning, her week with me. Yeah, kiddo, I am. Are you? Yeah, I like our house, and I like Mommy's house too. That's good, you should like both. Do you and Mommy like each other? Loaded question from a 6-year-old. We care about each other because we both love you, but we're better living separately. She thought about that while pouring chocolate chips into her pancake. Okay, can I have extra chocolate chips? Sure. That's good enough for me. Zoe's okay, I'm okay, and the truth won. Amber's learning to live with the consequences of trying to game the system. Her reputation took a hit, she lost her therapist, got reprimanded at work, and ended up with less in the settlement than she would have gotten if she'd been honest from the start. All because she left 200 pages of evidence on a printer and texted me her strategy like I was too stupid to do anything about it. The entitlement of it still amazes me. She genuinely believed she could lie, manipulate, and scheme her way to winning. Believed I'd just roll over and accept whatever she claimed. She was wrong. And that's the end of it. Moving forward now, better days ahead. Zoe's asking if we can get a dog. Might be time for that. Fresh start, new chapter, all that. Life goes on. My wife texted, "I'm pregnant. It's not yours though." I replied, "Congratulations." Then I withdrew every penny from our joint accounts and disappeared. Her lawyer couldn't serve divorce papers to someone who didn't exist anymore. I, 34 male, am writing this from a hotel room somewhere. Can't say where. Don't want to say where, but I need to tell someone what happened because it's been eating at me for 2 weeks. Thursday, 2:37 p.m. I'm at work when my phone buzzes. Text from my wife Giselle, 31. Marriage of 6 years, together for 8. Thought we were solid. Need to tell you something. I'm pregnant, about 8 weeks. It's not yours though. Sorry. Just like that. Text message, not even the decency to tell me face to face. I stared at that text for maybe 5 minutes. Read it over and over. Waited for the "just kidding" or some explanation that would make this make sense. Nothing came. "Congratulations," I replied. She started typing immediately. Those 3 dots appeared and disappeared several times. Finally, "That's it? Congratulations? What else would you like me to say? We need to talk about this. Come home." Working late tonight. Big project. That was a lie. I left work immediately, but I didn't go home. I went to the bank. Here's something about our finances. We had what she called a joint account, but it was actually my checking account that I'd added her to years ago when we got married. My direct deposits went in, I paid all the bills. She contributed maybe $400 a month from her part-time job at a boutique. Account had about $32,000 in it. Money I'd saved for years before we even met. Plus my ongoing deposits. Withdrew $31,500. Left $500 so the account wouldn't close. All legal. My account, my money. Teller asked if everything was okay. Told her I was making a large purchase, not technically a lie. Next stop, my buddy Amos, who's a lawyer. Not a divorce lawyer, does corporate stuff but smart enough to give me basic advice. "She's pregnant with another man's baby?" he said, jaw-dropping. "That's what she says." "And she told you via text?" "Yep." "Dude, document everything, screenshot that text, back it up everywhere, and whatever you're thinking of doing, make sure it's legal." Already screenshotted it, already backed up to 3 different cloud services, already thinking 10 steps ahead. "Can I ask you something about serving legal papers?" I asked. He raised an eyebrow. "You have to be findable to be served. Can't serve papers to someone if you don't know where they are." Interesting. And if someone were to say, work remotely, travel a lot, pay cash for everything? Then they'd be very difficult to locate for service. Not illegal, to be hard to find, just inconvenient for anyone trying to sue you. We talked for another hour. He gave me the name of an actual divorce attorney, told me to be smart, not emotional. I was already past emotional. I was in planning mode. Went back to the apartment while Giselle was still at work. Packed methodically. Just essentials, clothes, documents, laptop, some personal items. Nothing she could claim was ours. Left all the furniture, dishes, decorations. Even left the TV I'd bought last year. Found her journal while packing. Wasn't looking for it, but it was right there on her nightstand. Flipped to recent entries. "Tomorrow, I tell R about the baby. Scared but excited. Maybe this will finally push us toward divorce. T says he'll take care of us." T had to be Terrence, her CrossFit coach. The one she swore was just a friend. The one whose classes she never missed. The one who texted her constantly about form improvement. Took photos of those pages. More documentation. Left a note on the kitchen counter. "Congratulations again on the pregnancy. I'm sure you and T will be very happy. I've removed myself from the situation as you clearly wanted. The apartment is paid through the end of the month. After that, it's your responsibility. Good luck. Then I left. Checked into a hotel an hour away. Turned off my phone, opened a beer, and waited. The explosion came around 7 p.m. when I finally turned my phone back on. 63 missed calls, 42 texts, starting confused, escalating to panic, ending in rage. Where are you? We need to talk. This is childish. You can't just leave. Where is the money? That was our money. You can't do this. I'll call the police. My lawyer will destroy you. You're gonna pay for this. I responded once. Your baby daddy can help with money now. Best wishes. Then I blocked her number. Blocked her on everything. Shut down my social media. Became a ghost. That was 2 weeks ago. I've been moving every few days. Working remotely. Set up a P.O. box in a different state for mail. Using cash for everything. Not hiding from the law. Haven't done anything illegal. Just making myself inconvenient to find. According to Amos, who's been my intermediary, she's losing her mind. Can't file for divorce without serving me papers. Can't serve papers to someone who can't be located. Can't access our money because it was never ours. It was mine that I let her use. She tried to paint me as the bad guy to our friend group. Backfired spectacularly when she had to admit the pregnancy wasn't mine. Turns out most people don't sympathize with cheaters. I know I'll have to deal with the divorce eventually. But for now, I'm enjoying the peace, the freedom, the knowledge that she's facing the consequences of her choices without me as a safety net. 8 years together, 6 years married, destroyed with a text message. It's not yours though, sorry. Well, Giselle, nothing in my life is yours anymore, sorry. Update 1. Been over a month now since I became a ghost, and the entitlement has reached levels I didn't think were possible. First, let me address something lots of people asked about. Yes, I'm planning to divorce her. No, I'm not trying to avoid it forever. I'm just making her work for it. My lawyer, yeah, I got one, says what I'm doing is perfectly legal. I'm not hiding from the law. I'm just living my life in a way that happens to make me hard to locate. Not my fault she didn't think things through before texting me about her affair baby. So here's what's been happening. Giselle hired a private investigator. I know this because the PI was sloppy and used the same username across multiple platforms. Found his Instagram where he posted about his current case with just enough details that I knew it was me. Dude was posting updates like he was on some TV show. Target may have gone north and following paper trails. Bro, I'm using cash and have no fixed address. What paper trail? But here's where it gets juicy. Remember Terrence, the CrossFit coach baby daddy? Well, turns out our boy T wasn't exactly honest with Giselle. She thought he was single, successful, ready to play happy family. Reality check. He lives with his mother. His successful fitness business is teaching classes at someone else's gym. Oh, and he owes $8,000 in back child support to 2 other women. That's right. Giselle's upgrade has 2 other kids he doesn't support. Found this out through my friend Diego, who still goes to that gym. Diego said the confrontation was epic. Giselle showed up during a class, pregnant and crying, demanding to know why Terrence hadn't been returning her calls. His response? Look, we had fun, but I'm not ready for another kid. Another kid. That's how she found out about the others. But does this give Giselle a moment of self-reflection? Does she think, wow, maybe I destroyed my marriage for nothing? Nope. According to the emails she sends to my P.O. box, only way she can contact me, this is all my fault. Some highlights. If you had been more attentive, I wouldn't have looked elsewhere. I worked a normal job while she worked 15 hours a week. A real man would support his wife no matter what, even when she's pregnant with another dude's baby. You're destroying 2 lives with your selfishness. Math's not her strong suit. She destroyed our marriage, not me. I'll take everything in the divorce. What everything? The furniture I left? Good luck with that. My lawyer says her lawyer is getting frustrated. They've tried everything. Hiring a PI? Failed. Serving papers to my old workplace. I'm remote now. Serving papers to my family. They legitimately don't know where I am. Even tried to claim abandonment. Doesn't work when spouse admits to adultery. Best part? She can't afford her lawyer. She's been trying to get them to work on contingency, promising a big payout from the divorce. Lawyer's like, what payout? He emptied the accounts legally before leaving. Now she's having to borrow money from her parents for legal fees. Speaking of her parents, they reached out to my family. Her mom left this voicemail for my mom. Your son is being cruel to our daughter in her time of need. She made one mistake and he's punishing her forever. One mistake? Getting pregnant by another man is one mistake? My mom's response was legendary. Maybe she should have thought about that before spreading her legs for her trainer. My mom doesn't usually talk like that. She's pissed. But the real kicker came last week. Giselle managed to get a court date for a preliminary hearing about temporary support. Her lawyer argued I should pay spousal support and pregnancy-related expenses. The judge looked at the evidence. Her text admitting adultery, her admission the baby isn't mine, proof that I left her with a month's paid rent and utilities, evidence she has a job and family support. Judge basically said, why would he pay for another man's baby? And denied everything except ordering me to participate in divorce proceedings in good faith. I had my lawyer respond that I'm happy to proceed with divorce. Just need to be properly served first. Ball's in their court to find me. Meanwhile, I'm living my best life, working remotely from different cities, saved enough to put a deposit on a nice apartment, month-to-month lease, staying flexible. Dating isn't on my radar yet, but I'm in therapy working through the betrayal. Oh, and Terrence? Completely ghosted Giselle, blocked her on everything. She's now 6 months pregnant, living with her parents, working part-time, and begging anyone who'll listen for money. The woman who destroyed our marriage for some CrossFit attention is learning that actions have consequences. And I haven't even started the actual divorce yet. That's coming in the next update. Because yeah, I'm ready to end this officially. On my terms. Update 2. The divorce papers finally found me. Want to know how? It's actually hilarious. My lawyer, who's been worth every penny, filed a motion saying I was willing to accept service through him since Giselle's team was struggling. Cost her an extra $1,500 in legal fees for all their failed attempts first. The look on her lawyer's face when mine said, he's been willing to accept service this whole time. You just had to ask, was apparently priceless. But before we get to the divorce drama, let me tell you what Giselle tried to pull. She went on local news. Local news. Some morning show segment about abandoned pregnant women. Sitting there with her belly, crying about how her husband disappeared and left her penniless while pregnant. Made me sound like a deadbeat. One small problem. She forgot that whole "it's not yours though" text existed. My lawyer sent a cease and desist to the station with the screenshot. Then he sent it to every other media outlet in the area in case she tried again. Station had to issue a correction saying key details were omitted from the story. Giselle's segment got pulled from their website. She tried to spin it on social media afterward, saying I was silencing her truth. Someone, not me, but bless them, posted her original text in the comments. Post deleted within an hour. Now the divorce negotiations. This is where the real entitlement came out. Her initial demands, 50% of my current income as spousal support for 10 years. Pregnancy and birth expenses covered. 18 years of child support for a kid that's not mine. Half the value of our savings, the money I withdrew. My car. Compensation for emotional distress. My counteroffer. No spousal support, adultery state. No pregnancy expenses, not my kid. No child support, not my kid. She keeps what she contributed to savings. She keeps her car, she compensates me for the marriage counseling I'll need. Her lawyer actually laughed when reading our response. Dude knew they had nothing. But Giselle wasn't done. She tried to claim I was hiding assets, demanded full financial disclosure. No problem, I disclosed everything, every penny accounted for, all legal, all mine. Then she tried to claim financial abuse because I controlled the money. Judge shut that down quick when my lawyer showed. She had full access to accounts. She chose to work part-time despite no kids. She spent freely on CrossFit, clothes, and girls' trips. I never restricted her spending. The mediation was brutal. Giselle showed up 8 months pregnant, playing up the victim angle, brought her mom for support. First thing the mediator said, let's be clear. The pregnancy is not relevant to these proceedings as paternity tests confirm Mr. Up is not the father. That's right. She actually tried to claim I might be the father. I demanded a prenatal paternity test. Results. 0% chance. Terrence is definitely the daddy. Her mom exploded. He should man up regardless. That's what real men do. Mediator, ma'am, you need to leave if you can't remain calm. But she's pregnant with another man's child. Please exit. Security had to escort her out. Giselle started the waterworks. Mediator wasn't moved. Final divorce settlement. No spousal support. Thank God for at-fault divorce states. No pregnancy child obligations. She gets the furniture and household items I left. She's responsible for the apartment lease I left her with. Clean break. No future claims. She pays her own legal fees. She tried to refuse, said she'd take it to trial. Her lawyer pulled her aside and basically explained she'd lose worse at trial and rack up more fees. She signed. But the story doesn't end there. Remember Terrence? Dude really thought he was gonna skate on this pregnancy like the others. Giselle put him on child support before the kid was even born. He tried to contest paternity. DNA test confirmed what everyone knew. Now he's looking at child support for 3 kids from 3 different women. His mom kicked him out. Jim fired him for bringing drama to the workplace. Last I heard, he was couch surfing and doing personal training in parks. Giselle's living situation isn't much better. Her parents gave her an ultimatum: get a full-time job or get out. She's been applying everywhere, but explaining the gap in real employment is tough. I was a kept woman until I cheated and my husband left. Doesn't look great on applications. She had the baby last week. Posted about it on Instagram. I don't follow her, but people send me screenshots. Caption was all about being a strong single mother and doing it alone. Doing it alone? That's what happens when you blow up your marriage for a guy who collects baby mamas like Pokemon cards. Someone commented, "Congratulations. Where's the father?" She deleted the comment, then made her profile private. My divorce was finalized 3 days ago. I'm officially free. Credit's still perfect. Savings intact. Job's going great. Even started dating someone. Taking it slow, but she's amazing. Funny how much better life gets when you remove toxic people. Giselle? She's got a newborn, no husband, no money, a deadbeat baby daddy, and a reputation in tatters. She messages my lawyer occasionally, asking if there's any way to revisit the settlement. There isn't. She made her choices. I made mine. Only difference is mine were smart. Final update. Last update because this chapter of my life is officially closed. Got a call from Diego last month. He was at a coffee shop and overheard a conversation at the next table. Giselle was there with some friends and he said I needed to hear what she was saying. According to her new narrative, I was abusive, specifically financially and emotionally. She had to find comfort elsewhere because I neglected her. I trapped her in an unfair divorce. I'm probably hiding millions somewhere. She's the victim of a narcissistic ex. Same song, different verse. But here's what her friends said back. Girl, you literally texted him that you were pregnant with another man's baby. You thought Terrence was rich. You played yourself. Maybe focus on your baby instead of blaming your ex. Even her friends are tired of her BS. But the real reason for this final update? Terrence reached out to me. Terrence, through Instagram DM from a burner account. Bro, I know we don't know each other, but I wanted to say sorry. I didn't know she was married when we started. She told me you guys were separated. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I got played too. She told me you were some rich dude who ignored her. Said you had family money. I thought she was this lonely housewife. Now I'm paying child support. I can't afford for a kid I barely see because she won't let me visit unless I pay extra. Just wanted you to know I'm sorry for my part. This whole situation is messed up. I didn't respond. What's there to say? But it confirmed what I suspected. Giselle sold him a story too. Probably sold everyone a story. That's what she does. Meanwhile, my life has completely transformed. Remember that girl I mentioned? We're exclusive now. She knows the whole story. First thing she said was, "Thank God you respected yourself enough to leave." She's a pediatric nurse, has her own house, her own life, her own goals, drama-free. It's refreshing. Moved to a permanent place. Nice condo downtown. Bought it with the money I saved by not subsidizing Giselle's part-time lifestyle anymore. Have a home office with a view. Living the life I always wanted, but couldn't afford when I was carrying dead weight. My lawyer sent me one last update. Giselle tried to file for increased child support from Terrence, claiming extraordinary expenses. Judge looked at her expenses. $200 a month on coffee, $150 a month on nails, $3 a month on online shopping, $0 a month on baby supplies. Her parents buy everything. Claim denied. She actually has to pay Terrence's legal fees for the frivolous filing. Her parents reached out to mine one more time, wanted to mend fences and see if there was any chance of reconciliation for the baby's sake. My dad's response, "Your daughter made her bed with another man. Now she can lie in it. Alone." The last I heard, and I only hear things because people love to gossip. She's working at a call center, living in her childhood bedroom at 32. Terrence sees the kid twice a month, supervised. She's on dating apps claiming to be a boss babe single mom. Still posts inspirational quotes about knowing your worth. The irony of her posting about knowing your worth when she threw away a stable marriage for a broke personal trainer with multiple baby mamas. Chef's key? Sorry, incredible. As for me? Promotion at work, healthy relationship, nice home, peace of mind, zero drama. Turns out when someone texts you, "I'm pregnant," it's not yours though. The correct response really is, "Congratulations." And then you rebuild your life without them. To anyone reading this in a similar situation, you don't have to accept disrespect. You don't have to fund someone else's bad choices. You don't have to man up for another man's responsibility. You're worth more than being someone's backup plan. Choose yourself. I did. Best decision I ever made. Thanks for following along on this journey. Time to close this account and move forward. Living well isn't the best revenge, it's just the natural result of removing toxic people from your life. Peace out.